Hey, welcome back to Uncle Buck's Corner. We're not in the shop today. We're not even next to the Army truck. We're standing down here at the banks of Lake Powell. I'm going to show you a little bit here this morning. We're gonna cook a breakfast called slop. Now, I'll explain the story to that. It's kind of funny. We also had a little babysitting yesterday by good old Uncle Buck. We're going to have a couple of photographs of what happens when Uncle Buck gets stuck babysitting one of my nieces. They're pretty cute. Of course, so is she. So hey, so the first thing we're going to do when we get going on this slop is we're going to put a little oil on the grill. That way our potatoes will sizzle a little bit. Nothing worse than white hash browns. You know, you go to a restaurant and you order hash browns and they serve them white with just little tiny crispy edge on them. What the hell are they thinking, right? Exactly. They're lazy. So we're going to put a little bit of grease on this thing, or a little oil on this griddle, get it all ready to go. Now, we got a big old bag of potatoes here. I'm going to put just about most of it on here, but I'm going to save some of it because I believe we got way too many potatoes. So we got about 5 pounds of, maybe a little more here. We're going to get about 5 pounds of hash browns on there, and going to get them a cooking. Now, back in the about 25 years ago or so, and I didn't have a dime to rub together, and we was camping in the back of a pickup, and my oldest son JT, he's a real fussy eater. It's kind of come back on him twofold now because he's got a fussy eater, so the Lord's paying him back. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing more frustrating in a kid than a damn fussy eater. So anyway, I was standing over the campfire because I didn't have one of these fancy cooking stoves, and eating the smoke for an hour and a half while I tried to cook breakfast. And I had one Dutch oven pot, and I fried the hash browns in the Dutch oven pot, and then I set them aside on the lid, and then I cooked the sausage, and then I mixed them together and dumped some eggs on top and a little cheese, and he come over and he says, "I'm not eating that. That looks like slop." So, moral of the story is, that's what we call this here, we call this slop. And now, by the way, that kid would eat so much slop, I don't know what it'd do to him, but he'd eat plenty of it. So anyway, we're gonna get that cooking there and get those hash browns going. And while we get those hash browns a cooking, we're gonna start over here with some sausage. Now, I kind of got a little ratio here. We basically do 1 pound of sausage, 1 pound of potatoes, a dozen eggs, and so forth, and then a little bit of cheese, you know, a couple of cups. But in this case, we're gonna cook 5 pounds of potatoes and 4 pounds of sausage, because we got kind of a big crew here at camp this morning. So there's our lassie imitation again. We're gonna get this squeezed out on the griddle and get it cooking. So, one tube down, get the other tube cooking here. And like I mentioned before, you know, get you a pair of scissors like this when you're out camping, because I'll tell you what, them things are handy. These sausage tubes aren't exactly as user-friendly as you would think. So we're going to get this cooking. Chop this all up into some small pieces here, you know. We were going to get the chopping up this sausage. And this is actually a breakfast we cook at home all the time. I cook this on Sundays a lot of times, and well, I'll tell you what, the kids think it's a real treat. And it's not hard to cook. It just kind of takes a while, because you got to get those potatoes crispy. You know, sometimes that's a little slower than you'd like, but it'll be doing pretty good. We got a nice flame there, and you know, once we get this all cooked up, you know, we'll have a bunch of smiles like jackasses eating cactus.
Nom 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 nom.
You know, it's a really a good breakfast, and a lot of times we serve it savory style. You know, we put some what you call it, salsa or some hot sauce on it, or we kind of do a sweet style with syrup, and that works out pretty good too. That's the way Gage likes it, is with syrup. Now, the other thing we do is at the end of it, when it's all cooked up, then I'll start cooking some tortillas, and then we'll, you know, serve it up breakfast burrito style. So we can eat it with our hands or whatnot. Kind of saves on the paper plates, you know. Now I notice that griddle's sticking a little bit, so I'm gonna dump a little bit of oil in here so we can fry them hash browns. We're not baking nothing here, we're frying it. This is yeah, you gotta hear that sizzle. And we're getting a little bit of color in the middle there where the griddle's good and hot. Just kind of mix them around. Like I said, this is gonna take a while. And after your potatoes are getting kind of where you want them, then you start mixing in the sausage and kind of getting it all into one big pile. Kind of where the name slop comes from, because it looks like hell. It's all mixed up. Kind of funny watching that one fussy kid of mine. Now he's got that kid of his that's fussy, and that's just good old-fashioned karma right there, and it's fun to watch. Tell you, one time I was in, speaking of fussy kids, we was babysitting my brother-in-law's kids when we was living in Hawaii, and I had a notion to decide that kid was going to eat a hot dog and I was going to win. So there we was at the pool. Luckily we was all alone, and I was going to make this damn kid eat a hot dog, and he got the best of me. He threw that hot dog up all over that whole damn pool area, and I had to clean it up. So I don't force kids to eat nothing anymore. It ain't worth it. So anyway, you get it all mixed up here, and now we're starting to look like something here, fellas. Just kind of mix that in real good. Now we're going to get the eggs on there. Now, when I come out camping, I like to smash my eggs ahead of time and then mix them all up. That way you can freeze them and they become kind of your ice too. So we're going to just pour this into our potatoes and sausage, and then we're going to get it all mixed up. Now there may be an eggshell or two in there, but I wouldn't fuss over it because they'll just think it's crispy sausage, and nobody has to be the wiser. So just kind of mix that in, and we're just about ready to start eating this. That's a lot of food. So we'll give it a little bit more. Holy crap, we've eaten plenty of that. We got some, speaking of camp crows, we got a couple of them lurking around now. It's getting, they can smell the breakfast and they're all starting to come in. Now, the cheese ratio depends on, you know, how much cheese you like, I guess, but I'm going to put a couple of cups in here right now, and then we're probably going to have to dump some more on because that ain't near enough cheese. So we're just going to kind of do it to the taste here. We'll just put a little more on. Yeah, that's probably about right. You kind of guess what you're doing by how high the pile is. So let's just kind of get that mixed in there. Now my griddle's pretty nasty because it's got, you know, all these chunks of little bit of burn spots on there. So this will be a lesson for those of you that don't know what you're doing. Take and put a little water on here. It'll steam up real quick, and next thing you know, you get a brand new griddle. But anyway, we're going to get these tortillas now. For those of you that have married outside your class, like I did, I used to just have tortillas that was already made up. Married Natalie, now I gotta cook the damn things. So that's what happens when you marry uphill. But anyway, we're gonna cook these things, and we'll get to serving some breakfast over here at camp. Boy, this looks good. I wish you were here to have some, because this is tasty, boys. See what I mean? Hash browns, not hash whites. It's pretty good. It's really good. So anyway, there you have it. Breakfast good for 15 or 20 people there in camp. We've got the hash browns. We got them nice and crispy, as you can plainly see. We've got all the tortillas. Damn it, there went some more. Gotta watch these griddles. We got the sausage in there and the cheese and the eggs, and we're ready to eat breakfast. We're just gonna take a tortilla, put a handful on that, and right there, that burrito is kind of a diet burrito. It's got half as many calories as a burrito, twice this big. Remember, life is hard. It's even harder when you're stupid.